on, everyone? This is the one and only Pop Culture Junkie. Well, hey, today is Friday, December 15th, 2017, and for the rest of the world, that means Star Wars The Last Jedi has hit theaters. It hit theaters yesterday evening at 7 p.m. That was the earliest time you could go see it in theaters. You wanted to see it early. You know, they don't really do midnight showings anymore. Back in the day, I went to see Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith at midnight. I had to stand in line about an hour to 2 hours ahead of time to hopefully try to get a decent seat with some friends, and we would stand in line for a good couple hours ahead of time. You know, start around 10 o'clock and wait till midnight. You know, midnight showings, they just don't happen anymore. So now you buy your tickets online. You can already have your seats reserved, so you can just show up 15 minutes before the movie starts and grab some popcorn and a drink, and you're set. So it's really funny how things have changed. But I just went last night. My wife and I went and saw The Last Jedi. We got 7 o'clock showing seats, and I went and saw it in 3D as well. So I want to talk about the movie. I'm going to share my opinions, my thoughts. I will let you know if I'm going to be spoiling anything. So there will be spoilers, but I'll try to remember to say spoilers before I say anything in case you want to skip ahead in the video or mute it or something like that. Okay, so this is the second movie in the new trilogy because we have a new episode 7, 8, and 9 happening right now. And this was episode 8, Last Jedi, sequel to The Force Awakens. And I saw The Force Awakens 2 years ago when it came out. And a lot like other people, I felt, okay, I'm watching a new, better CG version of A New Hope, but not better movie, of course. And I was expecting that going into Last Jedi. I'm thinking, okay, all the hype from the trailers, and there's a lot of red herrings in the trailers, okay? A lot of people were very suspicious of the trailers, the recent ones, the last few that they put out for The Last Jedi, and I was one of them. I was like, you know what? They're putting a lot of emphasis on certain things in the trailer, and I can tell they're just trying to make you think one thing, and then something else is going to happen in the movie. That's the mindset I had going in. And then the other thing that a lot of people were talking about was that this should be the dark movie of the trilogy, which again, they're comparing it to the original trilogy. You know, Star Wars: A New Hope, you had a lot of adventure and excitement, and then Empire was just wow, holy cow! You know, they lived up to the name. The Empire Strikes Back. The Empire struck back in a big way where the rebels were on the run the entire time. I'm talking about Empire Strikes Back here. You know, the rebels are on the run. They're trying to get away from the Empire. Vader and his ships are just chasing them the entire movie. And then, Han gets captured, gets frozen in carbonite, gets taken away by Boba Fett. Luke finally gets some training and then goes to meet, Yoda to get training. And then fights Vader when he's really not even ready to fight him. Gets his hand chopped off. I mean, it was just a lot of bad things happen in that movie, and it's one of the best. It is, in my opinion, still the best Star Wars film ever made. Empire Strikes Back. That's still my favorite because it had such a real feeling to it in a lot of ways with how dark it became, and it was such a different movie compared to A New Hope. And again, when we came back for Return of the Jedi, that one turned around to where it was all happy-go-lucky again. And not really a whole lot of like scary suspense like Empire had. Actually, 15 years ago when we went and saw Attack of the Clones, I remember going in with friends saying, hey, this is going to be a dark movie. This should be the dark one, right? It's going to be like Empire Strikes Back, right? It's the second in the trilogy. So, we go up on Phantom Menace, and then it's supposed to go down and be dark and menacing. And the trailers kind of teased it, but really, Attack of the Clones was not dark in any way. I mean, you had the part where Anakin sliced up the Tusken Raider families and such, but that was eh. So yeah, the Attack of the Clones was not a dark movie in any way, not in my opinion, not to the level I was expecting it, that it should be. So Last Jedi, I'm going in with my wife. We're sitting there talking about it in the theater before the movie starts. We're trying to figure out so who do you think's gonna turn? Is Rey gonna go to the dark side? Is Kylo gonna kill Princess Leia, or General Leia? Those were the little red herrings we were given in the trailers. Is Rey going to turn to the dark side? Is Ren going to kill his mother? What's going to happen? Is Luke going to come back? Is he going to finally train Rey? What's going to happen here? I'll say this. The best way I can sum it up for me, after watching the movie, as I'm watching the movie, there were a lot of moments that I got a little, fanboy, giddy, whatever you want to say, where I'm seeing something and I'm going like, oh, that's so cool, they mentioned that, or oh, they referenced this, or oh, that's really awesome. And again, I'm somebody who grew up with the original trilogy. I was in my late teens when the prequels became coming out, and I saw those in theaters. I never got to see the original trilogy in theaters. I was too young. My family never took me whenever I was a baby. to see the original trilogy. But I did watch A New Hope, Jedi, and Empire. All those I watched those repeatedly on tape. At home, and then I would watch the prequels multiple times in theaters and on video and such. So I know a lot about Star Wars, and so it was cool to see little references, pop up in The Last Jedi, similar to Force Awakens, but I don't think as blatantly obvious. Some things you had to kind of know. I like nudged my wife a couple times, going like, "Oh, they referenced that," but she is not as educated in the Star Wars universe as myself, so she was kind of like, "What? Oh, okay. Oh, I get you now." I had kind of share with her what they're talking about or what they're referencing. But that was fun. That was a cool thing to see. It brought in a lot of nostalgia feeling. Okay, that's the best way to describe the movie. There was a lot of nostalgia, just like in Force Awakens. Force Awakens, you had that moment where you had Ray and Finn and BB-8 are running, and they're like, we need a ship, and it's like, what about that one? Oh, that's junk. Okay, the garbage. Oh, okay, the garbage will do, and you have the glorious shot where they pan over to the Millennium Falcon, and you're just like, oh my gosh, it's the Millennium Falcon. We haven't seen it in a Star Wars film since 1983. Oh, same thing happens a few times in Last Jedi. You see a couple things that you're kind of like, whoa, we haven't seen this in years, or we haven't heard this reference or anything like that. Yeah, there were like moments of that really made me excited, and I really enjoyed. And there's a couple parts that, even though it was more for nostalgia, it helped with the storyline. And even after the movie was over, I still felt I really enjoyed those moments, even though they were made for certain reasons, that kind of thing. So, like I said, it's hard to say stuff without spoiling anything. So, let's see. I'm gonna skip ahead here. So let's see. Let's talk about the characters. Okay, Poe Dameron, for me, is the lead of this movie for the Rebels, for the Resistance, as they're called now. Poe Dameron, the character itself is very entertaining. He has just the right of sarcasm. I've always compared him to kind of like this generation's Han Solo. That's kind of what they're going with. He's got the witty sense of humor and a lot of sarcasm. I thought the portrayal of Rey in this film was really good. There were a couple parts I didn't think needed to happen, or I think they kind of went for too much of a let's copy what we've seen before in other Star Wars movies instead of just going on their own path. Especially there's a scene in when Rey is hearing voices. Spoiler alert in case you're not one to hear anything at all about the movie. Spoiler alert. There's a moment where Rey is on the island with Luke. Luke is still refusing to train her fully. Or I think by now he's maybe talking to her about possibly helping her figure out what she's what it is to have the Force, what it is she has in her, that connection to the Force, etc. Rey basically does the same thing that Luke does in Empire, where she wanders over to an area, she falls down that whole hole into the water, she gets out, she walks over to the wall, and it's like a mirror on the wall. And it's very similar to whenever Luke is being trained by Yoda, and Yoda tells him, don't enter that part of the forest because that part is consumed by the dark side. Rey, and he's like, you don't need your weapons or anything like that. And Luke still takes his lightsaber and goes into the cave, and of course he fights a pretend Vader, and this is where he decapitates him, the helmet explodes, and you see Luke's face inside the Vader helmet, which of course was supposed to be kind of like an Easter egg to tell us later that, that's his father, his blood, etc. Well, there's a scene in The Last Jedi, again, spoiler alert, so don't get mad. There's a scene in The Last Jedi where Rey goes into a hole in the floor, into the water, finds a mirror on the wall, and then you get this weird multi-mirror effect. And honestly, for a second there, she starts snapping her fingers. If you've seen this, you know what I'm talking about. She snaps her fingers. As soon as she did it for the second time, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be parodied so bad in the next few parody films of some sort, where you're going to have a person imitating Rey doing a snap, and then break into a dance number or something. This looks so wide open for that. So anyways, that didn't really lead to anything, though. You didn't see Rey's, you thought you were going to see this figure coming towards her in the reflection that was going to be her parents or her relatives or blood or somebody to give you an idea, who are you and where are you from, because we still don't really know anything about her past, except that she, as a little girl, she looked up in the sky and saw that spaceship flying off. So yeah, all you see is her reflection again in the mirror, and so you're like, okay, is she just popped up out of nowhere like Anakin did? Like, Anakin was just, spontaneously combusted inside his mother? What is the story with Rey? We don't know anything else yet. that was one part right there. I thought, okay, you're obviously pulling elements from Empire to put it in here, but it just didn't make sense to me. It didn't work. Okay, I mean I knew what they were going for, but it didn't work. Okay, so the other characters, we got some new characters we were introduced to. Had the Codebreaker, which was Benicio del Toro. I thought he was awesome. I thought he did it perfect. I hope. Okay, spoiler alert. I hope we will see more of him in the next movie. I'm hoping. But I thought his character was great. I mean, he's a fantastic actor, hands down, anyways. But I thought his character was good, and I really enjoyed it. He had a little bit of comedy in there with BB-8 in the prison. That was really fun. But then later on, we did what happens on the Imperial ships was really cool too. So that I really enjoyed. We got introduced to this new character, Rose. Okay, there's Rose there wearing an Imperial uniform. But she's one of the Resistance rebels, and I thought she was awesome up until the very end towards the end of the movie. And I'll say again, spoiler alert. I thought her character was awesome. The beginning part where she's heartbroken, of course, because of what's going on. I won't say why, but she's just heartbroken because things are happening with the the First Order coming at the Resistance, and then at the end, Spoiler alert, okay? I haven't brought up Finn yet. I'm going to bring Finn up now. Okay, Finn, at the beginning, he's unconscious. The trailer makes us believe he's going to be asleep the entire movie. I honestly thought that would have been the best option if you're not going to kill his character off. That would have been the best thing. Keep him unconscious the entire movie, and then at the end he wakes up or comes to, or he's going to be okay, and he's going to do something, whatever, good or whatever. They just continued on with him being a coward, a weasel, a guy who has nothing, that he doesn't stand for anything at all. I don't believe his character one bit cares about what's going on about anything except for Rey. At least that's the portrayal I'm getting. I'm like, okay, is he romantically interested in Rey? Because that's the only thing he's into. That's the only thing he's like, okay, I don't care about the rebels. I don't care about the First Order. I don't care about if the entire galaxy gets taken over or not. I'm just worried about the girl. That's it. It's like, well, dude, like, you have nothing to stand on then. You have no morals, no anything. I don't have any reason to want you to survive or anything. But I thought the best option would have been for his character to just be out of it the entire time. And then at the very end of the movie, once the Resistance, is in a safe area, all of a sudden he comes away, kind of like R2 in the last movie, okay? R2 was out the entire movie, wakes up at the end, do that, okay? I thought that would have been fine. Because honestly, there was no other purpose for him to be doing anything else in this movie, my opinion. Okay, spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Right at the very beginning, after he wakes up and he finds out that Rey is not on the ship, she's off doing other things. He just wants to escape and go find her. Why? I don't understand, because he has nothing to offer her in any way. She doesn't need his protection. She doesn't need him to protect her for anything. So I don't know why he's going there, except if it's a romantic storyline they're going for. That's the only thing that made any kind of possible sense. Everything else didn't. So he tries to break away, and the Rose character ends up tasing him because he's trying to escape in a escape pod without telling anybody he's leaving. Then he goes around with Rose and him go to the casino, and they try to find the codebreaker because they need the codebreaker to turn off something on one of the ships so that the resistant ships can get away. Really, Rose and BB-8 I thought would have been a better pairing. Just go to the casino together and then find the codebreaker, and then the three of them sneak on board. That would have been perfect right there. Perfectly fine. Okay, they didn't need Finn as part of that storyline. Then at the very, very end of the movie, spoiler alert, okay, the Resistance makes it to that abandoned rebel base, and they have the big AT-ATs, the gorilla knuckle walking, caveman walking AT-ATs coming at them. They have the really crappy ships that they are shooting towards to try to stop the middle little cannon thing, the Death Star cannon that's on the ground there. Right then and there, that, you know what, as they landed in the rebel base, that's when Finn should have woken up from his coma, gotten in a ship, and sacrificed himself to be like, hey, you know what? I've stood for nothing. I haven't done any of this. I would have been satisfied, actually. Have Rose tase Finn. If you're going to have him wake up earlier like they did, have him tase him. Have Rose tase him whenever he's trying to get the escape pod. And then he's out of commission or jailed up or whatever. And then at the end, when they land on the base, they're like, hey, we need all the help we can get out here and, you know, show you're worthy or something. Then he gets into one of those ships, and in the movie, okay, spoiler alert, he is the last ship headed towards the cannon, and they have to destroy this cannon, otherwise it's going to destroy the wall, the one wall that blocks the entrance where the last of the resistance is on this base, at least, or on this planet. So Finn has a shot at being a kamikaze hero, okay? He's gonna do, like, you know, Randy Quaid in Independence Day, where he's gonna sacrifice himself to destroy the alien ship. Finn has that chance right there to be the hero, to sacrifice, to finally put himself out there where he's doing something for the right, he's doing the right thing for the right people and not being selfish and a coward. And that's how his characters come off to me. Bam! He could have just gone right into that gun, blown it up, and helped, you know, the resistance continue. That was a perfect storyline right there. The whole time I'm like, yes, do it. You're doing something, finally doing something good. And no, they have Rose out of nowhere clip him with her ship, and they both crash. And then she's basically unconscious almost, and says, like, you know, oh, I did it because I had to save you. It's like, no, no, you just continue. They just killed off any kind of momentum his character had, in my opinion. I think that, again, he should have sacrificed himself, and that had been it. That's just, it didn't make any sense for him to continue on, because honestly, the rest of the movie, his character was blah. Okay, now that's my opinion on Finn. Let's talk about the First Order, Snoke, and Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren was a lot better in this picture than The Force Awakens. He did have that part where he's like destroying his helmet and whatnot, which I didn't understand. It's like, okay, so we're not going to wear the helmet anymore, I guess? I don't know. But Snoke, I thought, was okay, but spoiler alert, Snoke dies. Kylo kills Snoke, and Rey and Kylo fight off the Red Troopers. Okay, these guys, I forget their name, but they're the guards for Snoke, and they fight them off, and it's almost as if Kylo had this all planned, and I think that might be the way they were going. But Kylo had this whole thing planned out just to get Rey to turn to the dark side, and she doesn't, of course. She goes on and continues joining with the Resistance. Okay, now, spoiler alert as well. All the rest of this is going to be spoilers, so if you don't want to hear anything else about spoilers, turn it off. So, spoiler alert for the rest of this talk. So we had Kylo Ren and Rey have their weird communications where they could talk to each other, similar to, if you remember the end of Empire Strikes Back, after Luke Skywalker and Vader have their fight, and Luke's been saved by Leia and Lando in the Falcon. Luke is laying there, and he's like telepathically talking to Vader, and Vader's talking to him. All you see, though, is them say, like, you know, Luke. He's like, Father. That's all you really see, though. Well, in this movie, Kylo and Rey have full-blown conversations. Like, Rey is on the island with Luke. Kylo is on the Imperial ships way off, far away. And they're somehow able to have these conversations, full-blown talking, etc. And Luke walks in on Rey actually having a full-on talk with Kylo in the hut, even though he's not really there. He's just, mentally there, etc. So that was kind of weird and different. The other thing I want to talk about with the First Order and the Empire, or First Order, of course, is Captain Phasma. This is a badass character that I wanted to have a big moment in the whole trilogy, okay? I thought this was perfect. You have a female stormtrooper for the first time ever, and she is the leader of the stormtroopers. She's in charge. And the character itself could have been awesome, badass to the wall, and I was not happy at all with what they did with her character. Phasma shows up after Finn, the Codebreaker, and Rose and BB-8 are all caught. They're trying to manipulate the tracking device on the ship so that the Resistance ships can't be tracked, and Phasma shows up. They take forever to execute Rose and Finn, and then that's when a distraction happens, and the whole ship starts blowing up, and then Finn and Phasma have a fight, and the fight went way too short and was a dumb ending. It just didn't make any sense, okay? I hated the one-liner Finn says at the end. I was just like, come on, this is This is horrible compared to the original trilogies. Okay, I'm going to compare it. Compared to the original trilogy, this was just horrible. So again, I was like, again, we did not need Finn in here at all. It just didn't work. Not for me. Now I will bring up also Porgs. Okay, everyone was worried about these guys, thinking, oh no, this is going to be the Jar Jar of the movie. No, I will say the Porgs, as you say it, I will say the Porgs actually were very entertaining, and it helped because I'll say this: it was helping because at the time when you first see these characters, okay, these little critters are all over the island where Luke is with Rey, and the whole time I'm thinking, okay, you know what? We need some comedy relief. No, not necessarily comedy. Well, yeah, a little bit of comedy relief, but we need some kind of cuteness or fun, something like that at least. Because if this is going to be a dark movie, as they said, then we need a little bit of cheerfulness because you got to have something. Otherwise, it's just going to be a complete downer. Not everyone wants a full-on downer. There were a couple parts where they could have taken out. You know, they didn't have to have so many parts with the Porg, but I did like just a little bit of things where they're in the background of the Millennium Falcon. They're in the background of where Rey is with Luke at the time. Different moments. So I like that. I didn't understand the characters that were on the island with Luke. If you when you watch the movie, you'll see they looked like nuns almost, like alien nuns or something, and they were like they were what did they call them? I forget what they called them on the island. Luke said that they're the ones that have protected the original buildings ever since the Jedi first built them there, the first huts and buildings and whatnot. But they're the ones that have taken care of the place ever since. Caretakers. There you go. They call them the caretakers. They looked kind of funny. That's all I can say about that. I like the part where Rey slices the rock and it destroys one of their carts. That was pretty funny. So yeah, it's funny to say funny a lot with Star Wars. Star Wars should not be a comedy. It should be an action adventure with some drama in there. It's a soap opera up in space, as George Lucas always said. I do want to bring this up before I forget. And that was, let's talk about Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia. This was going to be, and this is now her last film of all time. There'll never be another movie with Carrie Fisher in it. This was her final role before she passed away almost a year ago now. And it was wonderful getting to see her on screen, and her character is just as awesome as she always is. She's Princess Leia. She's always going to be Princess Leia. No matter what movie she was in before or after Star Wars happened, she's always going to be, for me, Princess Leia. And I thought her portrayal was great. Her character was wonderful. It was so awesome. Spoiler alert, it was awesome getting to see that she does have Force abilities. We've never gotten to see anything like that at all in any of the Star Wars films, so it was nice to see something like that finally. But it was very sweet getting to see her on screen, and it was very sad at the same time because knowing that this is it. This is the last time we're going to see her portrayal of Princess Leia, or I don't think anybody else should ever play Princess Leia at all. But still, it was really nice, and it was really sweet at the end of the movie. I took a picture and posted it on Instagram, but they did, for the first time ever, dedicated a Star Wars film to someone. They never do that. They've never done that before. They never had anything like that before, where they've had one of their main original characters pass on. And that was very sweet at the end of the movie. After the wrap up happens and you have the credits begin, they had the main actors' names on the screen one at a time, and then you see in loving memory of our princess Carrie Fisher. It was very sweet. But I thought her character was just awesome. It's Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia. You can't go wrong. So I thought she was just good in the movie as she always is. I do wish we could have seen a little bit more of her, but again, with the way they were leading things in the storyline, it happened. It's kind of obvious which way they're going, what direction they're going in. But yeah, so I thought she was really good. But yeah, those are my nitpicks there. Now, of course, I will give you the biggest spoiler alert right now. If you've still not shut this off and you're still watching, this is the biggest spoiler alert, period. So 3, 2, 1. It was awesome to see Yoda back in Star Wars, okay? I really enjoyed it. They did the right version of Yoda. He was a puppet. He wasn't over-the-top CGI'd. He looked awesome. I loved it whenever I saw his Force Ghost from behind as Luke is walking towards the Jedi area there. He's going to destroy the books. Yoda was just, his normal sarcastic old man, got nothing to lose, self. And just seeing Luke and Yoda side by side again was heartwarming for me right there. That was, for me, the best, probably one of the best parts, if not the best part of the entire movie, was getting to see Yoda and Luke just interact again. Whole time I'm waiting. I was waiting for somebody to show up. I was expecting a ghost of Obi-Wan, a Force ghost with, like, maybe they snuck in Ewan McGregor, or maybe, he's on the island where he could talk to almost any Jedi. Maybe Qui-Gon Jinn shows up. Maybe they get Liam Neeson in there. I'm hoping that in the next movie, whatever it's going to be called, Episode 9, again, big spoiler alert, okay? Obviously, we're going to see Luke as a Force ghost in Episode 9. Because, he did not survive Episode 8. And hopefully we see another Force ghost or so. That'd be awesome. But then again, we could get carried away there. But we definitely will see, Luke Skywalker pop up again in Episode 9. Okay, well, that's my opinions, my thoughts on the movie. Again, when I first saw it, as soon as we left the theater, my first thing I reacted, the first feeling or the first opinion I had, and I tweeted this out last night as soon as I got home, was it was almost like watching Empire Strikes Back in reverse with a little bit of Jedi sprinkled in there somewhere. And when you see the movie, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, because it is kind of like they're going in reverse. They had the big ice planet battle at the end of the movie. They're being chased by the First Order from the very beginning throughout the movie until they get to the base. Whereas in Empire, they're battling on the base and then they go get chased. And then, of course, Return of the Jedi is you have the moment where Kylo Ren takes Rey up to meet Snoke. Very reminiscent of Vader taking Luke to go meet the Emperor, and that's all in Jedi. And then you have the chance where Rey tries to take the lightsaber to, combat and kill the Emperor, and Rey tries to do that to kill Snoke. And then, of course, you have Ren turn on Snoke and kill him, and then battle it out with Rey. Instead of, one of them killing each other, of course, they just, they both get force blasted away from each other trying to take the same lightsaber. So yeah, I'm real curious to see where they go from here. I will say, though, it was not the greatest Star Wars movie of all time. It's getting hyped as that. It had like a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I know Rotten Tomatoes is not always 100% accurate on their choices. I would say it was good, but it wasn't the greatest, and nor would I ever say it was better than Empire or even A New Hope. I'd put it on par with Jedi, maybe. That's about it. I definitely enjoyed it better than the first two prequels, minus a couple things that happened in Phantom Menace. Of course, best things in Phantom Menace for me were Qui-Gon Jinn and Darth Maul. Those were the best two. Definitely was better than Force Awakens, though, and was not anywhere near as good as Rogue One, in my opinion. I still think Rogue One's probably one of the top 3 Star Wars films of all time. Okay, well, hey, let me know what your thoughts are. Keep it spoiler free. Post some comments below, or put spoilers. Spoiler alert if you want to share some comments below, or if you want to talk to me on Twitter or Facebook, anything like that. Let me know, because I'm up for talking about the movie. I just don't want to spoil it for anyone else if they haven't seen it yet. Because today's the opening day. All right, everyone. Well, hey, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed my little rant and ramble about Star Wars: The Last Jedi. If you want to leave me comments, do so. If you haven't done so yet, please hit that subscribe button so you can check out all my other content I got. And you can also follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Links are below in the description of the video. Okay, everyone. Well, if you're going to go see the movie, or if you haven't seen it yet, I hope you will still go see it and give it a try, and I hope you enjoy it. Well, until next time, this is the one and only Pop Culture Junkie saying, may the Force be with you, and I'm signing out.